Welcome to the Upshot Interview Series, and we are joined today by world champion Kristin Tattar, freshly minted world champion. Kristin's been on the show a few times lately, one of our very first guests on the interview series, and it's been such a pleasure to see her performance this year, her grind and perseverance to get over to the United States to play even at times when it was challenging last year during the COVID pandemic. And now here she is standing as a world champion in one of the most dominant performances we've ever seen at the tournament. We catch up with Kristin on what she's thinking about following her world's win, her plans for the rest of the season, how she's going to be dealing with her injury in the off season, what this is going to mean to her career, and plenty more. Kristin Tattar joins us next on the Upshot Interview Series. The Upshot is presented by Pound Disc Golf, makers of the best bags in the sport. The new smaller pound bag, the Rufus, is out now. Round 2 production is underway. You can go over to pounddiscgolf.com and check out some brand new colorways and many options available for your Rufus look and feel. Custom Rufus packs coming soon. Go to pounddiscgolf.com and get yourself a Rufus today. Joining us now on the Upshot Interview Series is freshly minted world champion Kristin Tattar. Kristin, welcome back to the program.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Congratulations. I'm sure it's been a whirlwind these last few days, and just such an impressive performance overall. You set an all-time record for the highest average event rating at the tournament. You have 2 of the top 8 highest rated rounds ever at Worlds in FPO, and you win by 8 strokes, the most since 2009. Did it feel that dominant to you when you were out there playing on the course?
To be honest, no, I wasn't thinking about it at all. I think my second and third round were pretty much a struggle. I remember just telling myself to keep on pushing because nothing was really working out the way I had planned or I had wanted. But yeah, the first round and the last 2 rounds were feeling very good. I feel like I just had a very solid game plan, and I was really like trusting my game plan no matter like what other girls were doing.
So when you go into final round with a 5-stroke lead, what's going through your mind at that point?
There was a lot going through my mind. I did not really sleep at all the night before because I think I was so nervous, and I couldn't fall asleep. And before the round, I just kept telling myself to just trust the process and don't get ahead of myself. Take one shot at a time, stay in the present moment. And somehow I was able to do that. I knew I just had to focus on getting birdies. So that's what I just tried to do. And I didn't really think about anything else, like missing shots or anything like that. I had mostly just positive thoughts in my mind, and that kept me going.
I have 2 strategic questions. One, your putting in round 3 was a little off, and you hit the big one late on 17. That was, clutch circle 2 birdie, but you had a lot of misses from that range earlier, including some circle 1 misses. Did you make any adjustments or do anything to get back on track? Because then your putting in rounds 4 and 5 was excellent.
Mm-hmm. To be honest, I did not change anything. I think this is part of disc golf. At least it has been for me. There are ups and downs. And I think it's just a matter of accepting them. Not thinking about, oh my gosh, I missed that shot. There should be like 1 down, 2 down, 3 down. This is never going through my mind. I accept that sometimes I miss like short short putts. Sometimes I mess up drives. It doesn't matter which shot I mess up. It happens. And I just remember from that round, I was just super sad that I could not like play the way I had played the first round, but I only kept telling myself very positive things and just told myself to not give up no matter what happens. And I literally just told myself, yeah, don't give up, just try hard. And I really did try hard. I did try to make all those putts. I didn't feel any like nerves, but my putting was just weak. I don't know why. But as I said, I trusted the process. I made the big putt on hole 17, and I was back sharing the lead thanks to that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously an incredibly mentally resilient performance. The other question I have is that, you played a lot later in the tournament with some of the biggest throwers on tour. Mm-hmm. Holland Hanley, Ella Hansen, Henna. We could go through a list. Like almost everybody on your card was throwing bombs off the tee, and there were a lot of times where you were the first one throwing your second shot. And so notably, you are often also the closest to the pin after those second shots or after your approach shots to the green, which gave you a lot of birdie opportunities. But I'm curious to know if you were ever tempted to alter your style or your approach because of the pressure of playing with people who are out throwing you sometimes by 100 feet.
No, I did not think about changing my game plan. I did feel that it was weird to be on that card, because I'm not used to like being the first one throwing after the tee shot. I'm definitely not the furthest throwing woman in FBO, but I don't feel like I'm on the lower, like in the bottom side as well. But right now, because of the elbow injury, I cannot really rely so much on my backhand. And also I've lost some strength like overall in my hand. So I can't really grip the disc so hard. I cannot really throw as hard as I did before, like earlier in the season. So I knew that my game plan and my shots were a lot different than for the most of the other women that will be up there in the leaderboard. But thankfully, I didn't need that much distance. Yes, I had some harder approach shots, but I practiced them all week and I felt very comfortable that way. So I did not think about like changing anything.
That actually takes us to another topic that I'm really interested in, and that's the elbow injury. If my understanding of the injury is correct, that was an injury that's it was always present when you were throwing. Were there things that exacerbated that elbow injury or made it feel worse during the week?
I was so focused on my on Worlds that I hardly noticed that my elbow was hurting, and I took so many painkillers that I didn't feel that it was interrupting my game in any way. Yes, I felt some like stronger pain when I was throwing some of the backhand hyzers, but it didn't. I knew it. The injury is present. It hasn't really gone anywhere, but I didn't think about it at all, and I don't think it interrupted my game in any way. I knew what the situation is, so I knew what to expect, and I knew that I had to just focus on the positive side, and I'm so happy I was able to do that and not think about like what I can't do, but focus on what I can do. So yeah, but right now, today was the first day I actually went to throw the disc, and I felt it was pretty painful. Maybe because all the pressure is off, and now my mind is not as focused as it was before. So it's definitely, the injury is definitely present. But I know that the most of the recovery work will take place once I go home.
Did you sorry, Charlie, just one follow-up. Did you plan your game plan for Worlds with the understanding that injury was present? For example, prioritizing forehand shots in certain areas that otherwise you would have done backhand.
Yes, most definitely. For example, at the country club, the first hole, I would normally throw 2 long backhands, but I opted to go with 3 forehands, and it wasn't a bad game plan. I birdied the two rounds. Last round I messed up the upshot, but yeah, it worked out very well.
What is the likely recovery period for you after the season? So you're going to go home, and then is there going to need to be a surgical intervention? Is it just a rest thing? How are you going to get back to 100% for 2023?
I think I have to talk to my physical therapist and the doctor. Surgery is definitely one option. Depends on how it feels after the season. It's one option to like release the nerve where it's pinched. Yeah, but I don't have any like certain answers. I know that I cannot really break anything. It's just painful at times, and we'll see how it goes.
I'm curious to know if this Worlds played out like you expected it to in your mind. You know, did you anticipate that you'd be playing for much of the last couple of rounds kind of head-to-head against Hannah Blomroos as opposed to maybe Paige or Katrina or whoever you envisioned having to play against?
I never thought about like who will I be going against. I think we are ourselves like biggest enemies. You know, the most of the battles go in our head, and I think I won that battle this time because last year I definitely lost it. I was not in a very good state of mind, but this year a lot was different, and I didn't really get ahead of myself, and it didn't matter who I play with. I was happy that I had the chance to share the lead card with the 2 other Europeans for the last 2 rounds. I know that European disc golf is very strong, as is American, but to be up there with the 2 Finnish girls that I have been battling with for years, it was an amazing feeling, for sure.
What were your thoughts on the courses or the venue of Emporia, Jones Supreme, Emporia Country Club? Do you feel like it was a good place to host Worlds? I mean, you can't be too upset about them, obviously, because they played pretty well in your favor. Mm-hmm. But overall, what were your impressions, maybe even before going into the tournament as well?
Well, before going into the tournament, I thought this is like the worst. These are the worst courses for me because I was so unsure what will go on in my elbow because these courses, they require a lot of like strong shots, powerful backhands. And I was really worried, to be honest. How can I handle this kind of pressure and this kind of courses? But thankfully, I was able to adjust my game plan, so it wasn't too bad. But for sure, I thought about like playing in the woods. That would have been maybe more appropriate at this time for me. But again, it worked out, even on the long courses, open courses, where a lot of powerful shots were required. I did handle it very well.
Obviously, winning a world title is at the top of the list for pretty much every disc golfer in terms of career achievements. I'm curious for you specifically, the way you've been playing this year, the level that you've been playing at, highest rated player, multiple wins. Was there does it feel extra good given that you had to miss the last 2 majors and you lost in kind of heartbreaking fashion back at the Champions Cup?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was a hard competition during Champions Cup. I haven't thought about it like ever since it happened. I've been just moving on, taking one step at a time. But I think missing out U.S. Women's and definitely European Open was was super hard for me. And at that time, I didn't even know if I was able to come here to play the Worlds. So there was a lot of anxiety in me, for sure. But I knew that when I make this break and I don't play at least some of these tournaments, I have a better chance to perform well during Worlds. And I took that chance, and thankfully I have been well enough to come back, and nothing's really, like, as I said, broken. So yeah, it has been tough, but now I'm rewarded tenfold.
I'm sure you've been asked a million times, what this means for you, but I guess I have a more specific way of asking that question. I want to know, does this change what your tour is going to look like at all next season?
Probably not. So far, it hasn't changed even this season. I'm still competing here in Pittsburgh. Everything's gonna go as I planned it out before Worlds, and the next year probably will be looking pretty much the same as this year. I'm very sure, and yeah, it means a lot to win Worlds, but I think I'm still the same person. I just feel that one dream has come true. Now I have to maybe dream even bigger, set new goals. So yeah, it's an exciting time for me, for sure.
So the next sort of big event on the calendar, we have the DGPT playoffs, with some great tournaments up in the Northeast. And then we have the Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championship, which is not a major, but is at a historic venue at Winthrop and certainly has a lot of the trappings of a major. How do you look at that tournament? Do you feel highly motivated to try to win that event, given that it's kind of an invite only and coincides with the USDGC?
I think I am so competitive that no matter what tournament I enter, I do want to win. So it doesn't matter if it's Worlds or if it's just a weekly tournament. Doesn't matter. I take every tournament the same way. So yeah, I agree. Very exciting tournaments are coming up. I really look forward to playing in Vermont next weekend, where the next year's Worlds will be hosted. I haven't been playing Maple Hill for years, so I'm super excited to go back there. Also playing Winthrop, and then Disc Golf Pro Tour Finals. It's all going to be super exciting for me.
Of the events that remain this season, if you had to pick one event to win, which one would be at the top of your list?
Well, definitely Pro Tour Finals for sure.
Does the paycheck help with that answer?
Of course, and it's the last tournament of the season, so it would be a really, really nice way to end this season with a huge win.
What's been the most fun part of winning? Over these last few days, what stood out to you? I'll just leave it open-ended.
It's just been incredible to see that even with this short time, I was able to climb my way up to the top and actually become a world champion. Because in my mind, it was it wasn't real, to be honest. And I felt that I started so late in life. I haven't played since childhood, like a lot of other women have. And there's been so many ups and downs, and just a lot going on. And to be able to really pull this off and stay really calm and focused on the bigger picture, this has really blown my mind that I was able to do that. And it gives me power to maybe achieve even bigger things in life. So yeah, this has been the most exciting thing for sure.
Do you feel that you're playing the best disc golf of your life right now?
Definitely, yes. I think this season has been by far the best season. Every year, I've actually so far seen progress, and I just told my friends that I've set the bar so high now that it's hard to like jump over it next season. But we'll see how it goes. I never think too far ahead. But yeah, this has been definitely an incredible season for me, and I'm so happy how it has turned out.
You are in a peculiar position relative to, well, you and all the Europeans, I think, relative to your American competitors, because the majority of the tour is here in the United States. And given that that's the case, you sacrifice a lot relative to your American peers in order to be competitive and be on tour. I guess my question then is, do you have a vision for what you foresee as being the duration of your career? Do you want to do this for a couple more years and then you want to prioritize staying at home, or do you just want to do this until you can't anymore? You're not competitive anymore. What do you foresee as kind of being the duration of your career?
I haven't really thought about like too far ahead. I know that at least until the end of my contract, I will be doing whatever I can to be in the best shape of my life, and to compete at the highest tournaments. After that, I have to see how it goes. But I know that disc golf will definitely be a part of my life until the end, probably. And I will still probably could never give up competing, just not maybe at the highest level or not as often. But I know that this will definitely stay as a part of my life, for sure.
We know you won $11,000 for winning the tournament, but the financial benefits of winning a world championship go way beyond the payday from the PDGA. Can you tell us approximately how much like your bonuses from Latitude / disc sales and what they've looked like so far? How much do you think you're going to make from winning this Worlds?
Yeah, there are bonuses involved. It was the biggest bonus that I've ever received. But I don't know about the disc sales yet. I have no information about that, but I'm impressed how quickly they made me a world champion disc. Yeah, probably the fastest made celebratory disc ever.
They had them in Emporia, right? I saw you sign some.
Yes. Right after my round, I was handed a celebratory disc, and we'll see how it goes. I can maybe talk about this after the season ends, but I know the Grace, even without the world champion on it, has been a very big hit, and it's my signature disc. Plus, the St. Pros have come out, also one of my favorite discs. There's been a lot of people reaching out to me to ask about when my discs are gonna come out. They want to support. So yeah, I think Latitude is doing well, and I'm doing well.
They are gorgeous commemorative discs, I have to say. I went and checked out the stamp. It's an incredible disc.
It is very pretty.
So I guess my final question here, Kristin, is how do you stay focused now for the rest of this season, given that it takes a lot of mental and emotional energy to prepare for a 5-round tournament like Worlds, the pressure cooker that it is, and now you got a Silver Series coming up this weekend. Like, are you going to be just chilling and throwing only forehands? Are you still going to be like trying to win at all costs? Like, how do you get ready for the rest of this season? Because I would imagine it's a big drop off in terms of intensity.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have never been in this situation before, so I don't know how it will turn out. We'll see how this weekend goes. Definitely going to play I'm not going to say only forehands, but mostly forehands for sure, to give some rest to my arm. And I have so many like big events coming up that I really do want to win. I think this week is going to be more relaxed, and feel like more like a training. So I'm not like too worried about how it will go. But of course, if I start competing, as I said, I always want to win. So that's my mindset.
Have you checked out this North Boundary course yet?
Yes. I just came from the course.
Tell us about it. I'm looking forward to seeing it on video.
It's much different than last week's course. There's a lot of hills throwing up and down, a lot of trees, just a lot of trees. So a lot of scrambling is going to be involved this weekend. But I think it was quite like forehand friendly. I saw a lot of like forehand lines that would work out for me. So I'm happy because of that. And I think on this course, you cannot really do a very solid game plan because, as I said, it's so wooded. So you never probably know where you end up. So a lot more like creative golf involved on that course.
Well, best of luck, and congratulations once again on your first Worlds win. And I'm sure it's been a whirlwind. Has it made national headlines in Estonia? Yes.
Even the Prime Minister congratulated me.
That's awesome. Well, enjoy the Pittsburgh event, and we'll see you out there for the Pro Tour playoffs.
Thank you.
Kristin Tattar with us here on the Upshot. 1X Kristin Tattar.